Yo, what's up, YouTube? Thanks for being here today. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It does help out a lot. I cannot do this on my own. And today we're going to be reacting to that corrupted cop video. It's going to be part 2 because it's so long. There might even be a part 3. But so far, he's been telling some crazy stuff. And we're going to find out some more. So let's not waste no more time and let's get into it.
How did you start getting into drugs? When was that eureka moment that you realized that you could sell drugs?
My partner at the time took some home out of the blue, and he came back and handed me a couple $100 one day. I said, "What's that for?" He goes, "That shit we've been throwing out is cocaine. We ain't throwing it out no more. I got somebody that wants it." So he's bringing me cash. I was like, "Okay, well, it ain't that bad." I mean, for me, it was like I didn't see it, I didn't do it, so I was okay with it.
See, I could just imagine how many cops are like that. That's why, like, you can't trust them these days. You can't trust really anybody these days. It's not like before, you know. And as far as the drug thing, that ain't gonna stop anytime soon. You know, especially if, you know, the stuff that's supposed to be getting disposed is being resold, you know, because of people like this. It's crazy, dude.
And then it becomes like anything else. It softens the blow for the next step, and eventually, I would lead to me just whatever dope I found, I would take, and if I couldn't find it, I'd see one of the drug dealers and say, "Give me something," or "Give me something for discount." I mean, that's it. Becomes you become a market maker at that point.
Did you stop buying it to sell it from these drug
At
dealers?
some points, I started buying it. Yeah.
How bad did it get with the drug dealing when you were a cop? Because it almost sounds like you've, at this point, given up being a cop, enforcing the
So
law.
here's fun. It's a dichotomy, right? Because I put the uniform on, I go to work, and if you are not in the drug business, you're going to get a good police officer. From my perspective, you may never say that, you may never agree with it, but if you had a car accident and you needed a police officer to take the report, bring you to a hospital, I would do all the arrangements, do the best I could. If you had gotten robbed, I would do the report, I'd take you to a hospital if you were injured, you know, whatever I needed. I mean, I responded like a proper police officer. But if you were in the drug business, you were mine. You were mine. Simple. I mean, how else can I say it?
What do you mean by you were mine?
You
Take
were mine. I owned
advantage.
you.
In what regard?
In every
Use 'em.
regard.
All this
Whatever I
stuff.
wanted, you were mine.
You could take their drugs. you could
Whatever
take-
I wanted. Your car if I wanted it.
Did you ever take someone's car?
I didn't have to. A guy gave me one.
What else?
Whatever. Coats, jackets, gold, whatever. Chains.
What was your biggest heist as a police officer?
They weren't that large. I'd say 40 to 50,000 at one time, which back then was good money. You know, you're talking about 2 years' salary. You know,
Yeah, if you're on a like $20,000, $30,000, whatever is
Yeah,
your salary,
yeah.
getting 40,000 is.
yeah, doubled my salary, tripled my salary. Yeah, that year. Things like that come along. You know, so there was opportunities. So you would call that a score, right? Opposed to an ongoing thing. Because like, boom, it's there. It's a one hit and a wonder and it's over. Every job in East New York, 9 out of 10 was involved with drugs. You're exposed to it. It's your choice on how you deal with it. You're the boss. You are the boss. You show up, you're the boss.
Were your colleagues around you doing the same?
The accurate answer is some were.
They
The
probably
best
had their
description
crew.
is you would never know. You would never know. I might because I know what's going on. But if you were a cop that was not involved, you would never know.
So the good cops wouldn't know that it was
You
happening.
wouldn't know. Because I'm not going to tell you. Now, if you happen to say something to me that hey, wait a minute, something went down there, I'd say, and what do you want to do about it? You want in? I'll tell you a funny story. Ready? We go to the scene. I don't want to describe it because it's lengthy. Long story short, the cops show up. We're the cops, but the cops show up behind us and they go, "Oh, that's Dowd and his partner. Leave them alone." And they turn around and they walk away. So the officers knew just I don't want to see what they're doing because then I'm culpable or responsible for what they're doing. And that's how it became.
And what were you doing at that scene?
Cocaine and heroin, my partner wanted the guns. I said, "What are you gonna do with the guns? This money, this is money. That's a gun." And people were dead. So the guns may be connected to the crime. So just
When you showed up at a scene like that, how do you, and you arrive there and there's guns, there's money, there's drugs, how do you get the money and the drugs without other officers seeing you?
it's funny.
Like, how'd you get it out? Do you put it in the back of the police car?
Laughing
So
too
one
much,
time I
man.
put it in a laundry bag, which was loaded up with heroin and cocaine and I don't know whatever else was in there. And I happened to be lucky. There was a row of garbage pails along this person's entranceway. As the sergeant was walking up the stairway to investigate the scene with us to secure it and make sure that everyone's doing what they're supposed to do, I take this bag and I go like this and I put it in the garbage pail. He comes up to me. I go, "Sarge, there's a guy dead in the doorway. They shot him through the eye hole." I said, "There's another guy shot upstairs, and there's a bunch of guns and stuff up there." I go, "But there's so many cops here. I'm gonna go 98, which means I'm gonna go back on patrol." He goes, "Good, like, good idea." I'm like, "Good, we agree." So that gets me away from the scene. So now he goes up the stairs. I go back into the garbage pail, pick up the green laundry bag, and put it in my car, and I leave. So now I got to go to a drug dealer, get rid of it.
And then you get loads of cash.
I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know, do they? I'm pretty sure in the beginning they test these police officers for drugs, but I wonder how frequent it is. Like, once you're like a certain amount of time in, do you still get drug tested? Because I wouldn't be surprised if this guy did drugs, like did some of it, like, you know what I mean? Couple little, sniffs here and there, or whatever. He looks like the type, greedy fuck, you know? But yeah, I wonder if they do urines and stuff.
Eventually, yes.
And what do you do with the cash?
In that specific case, I drove right to my drug dealing friend's place, who had an auto sound city. They put the sound into cars. I went right to his shop. I dropped off the dope with him, and he called his buddy that sold the heroin in the area, and so on and so forth. And that recycles back into money.
Were you ever scared?
No, no.
Should you have been?
I should have been more
Cap.
cautious.
Did you ever think you were going to get caught?
It was in the back of my mind for probably 5 years. Just never left. And thus,
But that's how it is, That's why the money is the root of all evil, Like, you want to stop, but if it keeps coming in, you don't stop. And then you just get greedy, and eventually you do get caught, Whatever's done in the dark comes out to the light, basically, So, yeah.
thus, you constantly are. Your anxiety levels up. Your body starts to go numb, and you wonder what's wrong with me. What's wrong with you? You're living like 3 different lives. You have a wife, you have a girlfriend, you have drugs. You're a cop. You're selling drugs. You're shaking people down.
And probably doing
Everything's
drugs.
just fine. No, it's not. It's never good.
Do you have a wife and a girlfriend?
Yeah, most of the time.
And you have kids?
At that time, 1.
And did anybody know what you were doing at home?
I would lay that up to her. But the mink coats and the new cars and the trips around the world, you don't do them on a cop's salary.
But you never said it.
She knew. Enough.
And did she ever give you advice about what you were doing?
Stop.
That's what she said.
Stop. I don't need this. I'd rather have you. Imagine that.
Your wife knows best, man.
It's a nice feeling in a way, right? I'd rather have you and sleep under a bridge.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Your ex-wife.
Yeah.
And why didn't you stop?
Can't.
You can't.
You can't. You can't stop that. It's not that easy to stop that.
I read the story that someone, a lieutenant, had put a complaint against you for a trivial matter, and you retaliated by reporting them to Internal Affairs for being in a drug house. And then this sort of led to a situation where you received death threats over the phone from that lieutenant.
Yeah. I'm working in Coney Island. I was sent to Coney Island to get away from East New York because they knew I was hot. I mean, the story's so big and deep, it's just crazy. The bottom line with him was I end up in a dispute with him somehow.
He's a cop.
Cop, yeah. And he had a Mercedes-Benz, 380 or something, Mercedes-Benz, whatever it was. His license plate on the back of his car said, B. Scott. less than a month later, about 3 weeks later, I'm out in Long Island, and there's the car. There's only one B. Scott, all right, in New York plate. And I pulled over, and I said to my wife at the time, I said, get a good look at this guy. And he went up into a crack house. There was only one crack house in the whole neighborhood, and that was it. He went up into it, and then he came out. So I left. I went home, and I spoke to my neighbor, who was my wife's uncle, who was a detective in the 102 squad, with 28 years on the job at the time. I said, listen, I want to talk to you. He goes, what's up? I told him the story, the scenario. And he goes, listen, Mike, anything but drugs. You got to turn him in. It was hard for me to do this because now I'm turning on a guy that I know was involved in drugs, and I know what I had done previously. So I call internal affairs. They were at my house in 45 minutes. Like, hello? I mean, at my house. I live 45 minutes from them. They were at my house in 45 minutes. They do an interview with me. Long story short, they put a lineup in front of me. I picked the guy out. So later on, within a week or so, I'm getting phone calls to my house at 2, 3 in the morning. But it's every day. It's going on every day. For about a month's length of time. So finally I go, what do you want, bro? Enough is enough. I'm fucking your wife every time you go to work. I'm fucking her. No. Oh, really? Yeah, she gets off the train in Long Island Railroad, and I pick her up, I bring her home, and I fuck her. Oh, okay, thank you very much. I said, well, why don't you come by, and we'll straighten it out right here, you and me. He goes, why don't I put a bullet in your fucking head while you're standing there in front of the window?
So he could see you?
I don't know.
Did you plot to kill him?
No. Why would I plot to kill this guy?
Well, because it sounds like he wants to kill you.
Well, that's different now. but I didn't, because I didn't know who it was. It took me years to figure out who it was. But in the interim, I ran into him again. I essentially arrested him without arresting him. I gave him summonses, which is an arrest in a way. And he was so pissed off. He made a complaint against me, and he was at this point he was suspended.
Oh, so he was a civilian when you
He was suspended. He was an officer on suspension.
Okay.
And he was suspended for being the gun in a drug case in Harlem. He was the collector in Harlem for a drug organization. It turns out.
What's a collector?
He was the strongman. So if you owed money to a drug organization, he went out and collected it.
Oh, okay.
So he was a police officer who had a job collecting money for a drug organization in Harlem.
You met a guy called Baron Perez.
Yes.
Who's Baron Perez?
Baron Perez is the guy who owns Auto Sound City at the time. He was what you call a middleman in any deal in Brooklyn.
So he ran a car shop, which was a front for a cocaine.
He was not a front. He had been a legitimate business. But in his business would be all the dealers in Brooklyn would come in.
And is that where you met La Compañía?
Yes.
What is La Compañía?
La Compañía was a Dominican drug organization that ran small nickel and dime spots throughout the city, lots of them, like dozens of them. And they were basically based out of bodegas.
And you were a cop at the time when you met them?
Yes.
And they're one of the most powerful drug organizations in New York City at the time?
At the time, yes. But they were street level mostly. They had their own organizational structure, but they dealt with all the street level bodegas.
And at the time, you're getting paid $600 a week as a cop?
No, every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks as a cop. So you're making $300 a week as a cop.
Right.
Kind of
And this
crazy.
drug gang offer you how much money to
They
protect
didn't
them?
offer me anything. I told them if they wanted protection, it was $8,000 a week.
And what did they say when you said that?
We'll pay it.
So they paid you $8,000 a week, this drug gang.
For the first week. And then they were shorted me $700.
What does shorted mean?
Short. They were short $700.
Okay.
So they paid me $7,300 instead of $8,000. So I told them I need the rest of the money. The deal is a deal. And they said, we're not paying you. But we're done. So then I threatened them and I shut their business down. I parked police cars in front of their business for a week, and they put a hit on me.
What does it mean when someone puts a hit on you as a police officer? What does that
They
mean?
suggest to anybody that is willing to shoot and kill this cop, they'll pay them.
And how do you find out that this drug gang have put a hit on you?
Well, because Baron Perez knows everybody in the city, in the drug business, because he does their cars. He said, there's a hit on you. He said, by La Compañía. I said, okay. I went out that same day. I saw his car. I never met the guy in my life, but I knew his car. the company, the boss. I pulled him over. He didn't know who I was. I told him my license, registration. I just threw the papers back in his lap. I said, "You gonna put a hit on me?" He turned as white as that pen, because now I'm standing over him, and he's sitting down in a little tiny Renault, looking up at me. I said, "If you want to put a hit on me, why don't we'll clear it up right here. I'll let you get out of the car, and we'll do 10-pace walk-off. You turn around, I'll turn around, and we'll shoot it out."
Did you mean that?
I meant it, every word of it. You don't say something you don't mean when you talk about guns and weapons.
What if he said yes?
It was on. I wasn't going to not. I wasn't going to not let him.
Were you not scared?
I was crazy. I don't know. I didn't think of fear. I always thought I was going to win.
What did he say?
He's probably on drugs. A lot of these cops do drugs. They take the drugs from these drug dealers and do it instead of handing it in, to get, disposed of.
No. I said, well, you take the hit off. My pager went off 20 minutes later, and he said, "The hit's off. I don't want to do any more business with you. There was the $700. Please leave us alone."
So you got your $700 in the end?
Yeah.
And that was the end of your relationship with them?
With La Compania, correct.
At some point after that, you met a guy called Adam Diaz.
Correct.
Who is a much bigger Dominican drug dealer.
Correct. Adam was, 2-3 levels above them. He was like the guy that gets to 1,500 kilos and distributes it out.
And he's making $1 million a week, and he's selling, $50 million a year in cocaine?
Correct, yeah.
How did you come to meet him, and what was the arrangement?
Through Barron, the same way I met La Compania.
Through that car shop?
Yes, correct. Then we had a nice sit down, him and I. We had a discussion. I said, "If you want to talk to me, you bring $24,000 in cash." I don't know why I didn't say 25.
So he agrees he wants to talk to you?
Yeah.
And what does he
He
say in that
agrees to the
meeting?
meeting. We sit down, and I explain to him what I can do.
What can you do?
Nothing, really, but I make it up.
What did you say?
I said I can surveil your buildings and your locations, and if I know of any impending raids, I could give you a heads up. I said, but one thing I did say to him, and I'll say it to the camera, if anybody gets hurt, I'm giving myself and you up. I said, because that's not what this is about. We agreed to the terms. I'll do what I can for you. I said, I can't promise you anything, but I will do what I will do for you is the best that I can. So, Diaz started paying me $8,000 a week. Listen, I'm now making $8,000 a week, split it with my partner, who didn't deserve any of it, but whatever. And it was more than the president of the United States at the time. That's a pretty powerful feeling for a civil servant cop.
So you couldn't really do anything for him?
Very little.
You could do very little for him, but you promised him a lot.
Yes.
And
I actually performed for him.
So he originally paid you $24,000
for the conversation.
Just for the conversation?
Correct.
And then he paid you $8,000 a week?
Yes.
Wow. And there was a particular time where you did actually save him some money?
More than once, yes. I probably was involved with him at this point for about 3 or 4 weeks. I was able to pick off a pending raid that I didn't know they were going into his store. But I knew there was a raid going to happen. So I walked into the store, picked up 2 Heinekens, walked up to the counter, opened up the Heinekens, and told the guy behind, I didn't know the guy behind the counter. I go, shut it down. Shut it down. He looks at me, I go, shut it down. He don't know me, I don't know him, but he knows. I walked outside, and I say within an hour and a half, they were hit with a team of 30, 40 narcotics detectives. And I don't think they found a gram of salt in the place.
And there was another occasion where you saved Adam Diaz.
Well, that's when they got the robbery with Coke and Franklin. So Franklin and Coke were the local bandits. They robbed all the drug dealers because they were just straight up killers. They didn't care. And they went to his spot. And they're not going to kill you if they don't have to, if you give up the shit. So the kid walked him upstairs, Elvis was his name, walked him upstairs to the apartment with all the drugs and all the money in it. And they gave as much as they could up. Someone called 911. And I hit Mach 1 right down there, and I pulled out. It was the first car on the scene. I jumped out, and Elvis is telling me, yeah, they just robbed us. So I shut it down. We're on the scene, no further. I think it's a 90 X-ray, which means it's unfounded. So that would stop the police approaching the location. Basically, I have the scene closed down. There's a guy upstairs, the cops are upstairs taking shit out, like cash and drugs. The thieves couldn't get it all. There was just too much. I go, what are you guys doing? It's just crazy how this happens. They go, I go, listen, do you have a search warrant to go in that house? The young cop.
He wants it, that's why he wants it.
No, I go, so what are you doing? You can't just go in there and take the shit out. Technically, you can't, but you can because it's an exigent circumstance. You're allowed. So they got bags of cocaine and money. So I got the cops to put the cocaine and the money back in the fucking house. Don't ask me how, but they did it.
A quick word about our sponsor, LinkedIn. Money and time
Well,
are two of the
make
most
your money,
emotions
bro.
apply.
Not acceptable. Just the fact that a cop was killed is not acceptable. And now the guilt that I lived with was that I was protecting people that may have either dealt with those people or been associated with those people,
Who killed the cop?
but they killed a cop. And that's, everything's, what does Tyson say? Everything's, it's all good until someone punches you in the fucking nose. Well, that's like getting punched in the nose. Like, what am I really doing? It was hard to swallow. I mean,
Wait.
I don't,
So is he saying like fuck the regular citizens and stuff, but the police officers now it's a big problem? So like the police officers are more worthy than like a regular Biden citizen? I don't know. This guy, he's a piece of shit. This fucking dude.
I don't think there's no excuse. What's the answer to that? It's not behavior.
I don't know if he changed his life, what he's doing now, if he was on drugs or, whatever it was. I hope he changed his life around because he was doing a lot of bad, more bad than good, letting all these drugs through and, letting these people go, that should be in jail for life and shit like that.
That, or it's first of all, in East New York, the cops are the greatest in the fucking world. Okay, they dealt with the worst scenarios that mankind can present.
Yeah, New York.
And at that point, no cop had
9/11,
ever been killed in East
man.
New York.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace to all the people that lost loved ones, man. That was a tough time. I remember I got hurt really bad. I was in the hospital for like almost 2 months. On July 10th, I almost passed away. And like I said, I was in the hospital for almost 2 months. I remember getting out the hospital, laying in my mother's bed, getting fed through a G tube, and watching the 9/11 live. I couldn't believe what was going on. And I was watching it live while I was getting fed through a G tube. That's just two things I will never forget.
Shot, someone been injured, but no on-duty police officer had been killed ever in East New York till that day. It's almost like I was connected to it, and so it was tough. It was tough on me as a human being, never mind as a cop that was doing wrong. I mean, we allowed them to stay in business. Even though there was little you could do, the fact that you knew what they were doing and the fact that you partook in some of the spoils of it, you feel that you're directly connected and responsible.
When you say you feel bad, how did that manifest, like, literally and specifically?
Well, I would say that that's when I really took that turn into drugs and alcohol more deeply. And that's
Okay, so he's taking the turn into drugs and alcohol. So is he saying he has an addiction problem or had an addiction problem? Because I think so, but we're not gonna watch the rest of it today or in this video because I don't want to make it any longer than it is. So there's gonna be a part 3 for the finishing of it. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'm out.